Hello, everybody, and welcome to day one of the Mordhau Fight Club. I am joined here today by Wizardish, some NA guy.
What?
Yeah. So, Mordhau Fight Club is basically a way of making scrims more interesting. It's not a league. It's not a tournament circuit. It's like the continuity of a league, but without the commitment and all that bureaucratic nonsense. That's kind of the idea behind it. Just how to enable people to have fun in the game without there being too much writing on it or anything, but there's still stakes. So we will have an elo system that's going to be constantly updated, as well as like with the results of each scrim that we stream. Teams can challenge each other to matches, which will be ranked, etc. So should be a pretty cool system. And eventually we will expand into EU once we make sure that it's not dog shit, essentially. Like once we get the system well made and well polished. But yeah. That's basically what it is here. So what you're going to see tonight is two different best of fives from teams that have scheduled their scrims with us. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I really like the idea of the whole grudge thing, Wow. I was thinking about it.
Do you?
And, yeah, if I'm like Tempest, if I'm like Nick Average and I'm trying to pay the bills, maybe I need to throw down some talk. Maybe I need to approach another team and be like, you know what? I think you guys are shit. And we challenge you. And then, people start... It looks like fear if you don't accept their challenge.
Well, if you don't accept the challenge, then you lose by default within a week. You have to accept.
Oh, really?
Yep. But there are stipulations on who can challenge which team. So, for example, if you are, I don't know, Reliquary, right? You can only be challenged by teams that are within 6 ranks of you. So you can't just be spam requested. And the same team cannot challenge you more than once per month. Once that matchup has been played.
Ah, I see. Okay, yeah. So my concern when you said that, now it's been alleviated, but my concern initially was that, what if you just like spammed a team into oblivion?
Right.
And, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think you could probably spam teams into oblivion like 1 week if they have like some people on vacation or something, but...
If we find, if a way to cheese it is discovered, then we will address it at that time. That's... I mean, this is a very flexible and robust system. We should be able to just kind of...
So my understanding then is that these teams that we're going to be watching tonight have challenged each other. Is that correct?
I think for the very first week, they were urged to challenge each other, if you will. But yes,
okay, so their choice to challenge each other was influenced.
Yes, they were encouraged to participate in a challenge.
So Guat, the chat is asking me about femboy hooters.
What is your take on that?
I didn't know that was a thing, so I'm gonna have to do some research and look into that one. My initial thoughts are that I think it's disingenuous. It's not true to what Hooters is. But you know what? Go for it. Why not?
Yeah, I'm sure it has a target audience somewhere that would really enjoy that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And if there's a market for it, then there's money to be made. And for that, I can hold nobody accountable.
Absolutely. I think capitalism has the final tell on that one.
All right, so chat, watch this. So this is the map right now with Wizardish's questionable lighting. Now we're going to go into settings. We're going to go to video. We're going to set our gamma to 1.25. If I can actually get it. There we go. And I'm going to hit apply. And suddenly, the map just looks correct. Wow, look at that.
That's hype. Now, if I were to do that, though, I'd probably remove the moon. Simply because the moon doesn't really make much sense with that.
Sure. That's too bright. Zach, so you think it's too bright at first, but your eyes adjust. And then suddenly it just looks correct. Even the moon still, it just looks like early morning, actually, now. Oh, we're starting. But now oh!
I think they have to do a champ duel.
Oh, do they? Okay.
That is what the young man Hodor told me.
Yeah, I'm not super invested in the rule set simply because I'm not playing, so it's left a little bit more up to the teams that are actually participating. Was just quiet. I just turned him up a lot. Really?
I hope I'm not quite in Discord.
You were at 100%, and I just turned you up to 150. I'll turn you up to like a good 180.
Oh, I have a lot of power now. I could damage Watt's eardrums.
You shouldn't do that, though.
Oh, of course, but I do have that power now.
Well, so, we have built up a framework of trust in the past, which I am honoring by turning you up.
So you are trusting and relying on that trust.
Now, I do see this Mort individual in the chat who I'm worried will influence your judgment just by his presence. So I am just keeping an eye on the situation.
Yeah, he has been messaging me. He's asking me to shill the Star Wars tournament.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, so I've not actually really seen a lot of the OG Star Wars, but the Star Wars mod is pretty hype. So you guys should sign up for the 2v2 Star Wars tournament. I believe it's next weekend, on Sunday, I think. Kronk did message me. He said that one of the first place prizes would be that you get to become subs for Reliquary. I don't know who came up with that or how valid that is, but apparently that is up in the air.
I don't believe that's accurate from my understanding. I do know one of the things, though, is that the debt that Mort is owed by skills for beating skills in a first to 10 should be transferred to whoever wins the tournament, so that skills now has to pay them the $100.
Oh, okay, that's hype.
From what I understand. Mort, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand,
seems like
that's part
there's
of the...
not a lot of value there, but, you know, hype nonetheless.
Listen, you said it, not me.
Yeah. So, okay, they've just done the champion duel. It looks like Hierarchy won that.
They're picking maps, I think. Somebody's
Correct.
confused already.
Hodor is saying, cannot pick Steedy, Chester, or Mosh Pit. The map pool. Okay, the map pool is Steedy, Chester, Mosh Pit, Contraband, Chasm. Okay.
How did you get your map in the map pool? Who let that happen? Where was I? The heck?
Are you pissed?
A little bit. You know, it'll be okay.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know how that happened, but
you know, actually, your map as a counter pick or an alternative to the mainstay is fine. I just don't think it should be like the entire map used for a tournament. So, for example, having a night map as 1 of 5 in a set, even if it does reduce visibility, that's fine to me because it's just variance and you could consider it a hazard, if you will. But playing all 5 maps on, say, Chasm, that would be...
the go-to now is probably Mosh Pit, I think.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that map.
Although that map
is kind of the new Contraband.
It is a bit small, but yeah. I turned off the lo-fi, just for the record, as the match starts.
Mosh Pit is a bit small.
We got some ketchup and mustard on the side of Hierarchy. Hopefully that resolves.
Yeah, this is interesting. So they've chosen Steedy Contraband. So here we are, Apemen versus
Monarchy is what they go by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the A, B, C, or D team, but I know it's one of them.
Okay, so far it's very chaotic. I don't really know what to be saying because it's kind of just... Yeah, I don't really know. What are your thoughts on this, Brett?
I'm thinking it's a pretty scattered engagement. We're seeing a lot of duels, a lot of team hits. It's pretty messy engagement across the board. I think as these teams start to warm up over the longevity of the set, we'll see the cohesion increase, or at least I would expect the cohesion to increase.
Oh, look at this, though. Sinister, he's actually using mace, so I am a huge proponent of that weapon. I think because he is using mace, I think they are just going to win this set if he does stick with that weapon.
That's pretty radical analysis off a very small bit of info. You sure you want to commit to that?
Yeah, I'm going to commit to that. Because, you know, it's just... They've actually got... Oh, even Apemen, they're running a mace too. Okay, I retract my statement. It looks like both teams have a mace. Apemen, though, right now... They...
Whoa! That back chamber! What? Somebody clip that. What the fuck was that?
Please clip that. Please. Oh my god.
Somebody send that to Crush. Yeah.
It was the mace.
Yeah, that was in the middle of stream. Yeah. I think that might have been Buckler active parry, as like combined with. By the way, for those who said Buckler is fine and we shouldn't ban it, eat shit and die because that just happened. So, anyway.
I mean, I don't know how related that is to Buckler, but yeah.
So this is a pretty dominant engagement here from Monarchy. Their first round on the board.
They do put a round on the board. You look at 2 of their members. Sort of, I think you mentioned at the beginning, they're bouncing between that.
Yeah, they're trying to fine-tune their ping spoofers as the match progresses. Hopefully, they'll get it worked out by the end.
Yeah, very chaotic engagements. Look at this.
Yeah, they don't really fight much as a group. This is a bit more EU than I think I would have expected. Not very much cohesion. Looks like the comms are a bit loose. Right now, we got looks like a 3v1 and 2 1v1s. Now the red team have won their 3v3. They are going to help.
Oh, it's not onto a 2v2. I don't know how the Apemen managed to salvage that. But they're going to Or a 2v3, my bad, but they're
Yeah.
going to go down. Now it's 2-2.
Okay, can I just be clear and say that hydrate requests that are redeemed while I'm in the middle of casting around are not valid?
I think that's highly unfortunate.
Just mid-speaking, just start glugging.
So we're getting into it again. Apemen take the first pick, and I've noticed every round Gwat that they're doing like a 3-2 split, and they just destroy that left side. Sinister and T-Poke going down immediately. There goes Goon Emperor with that mace, getting another, and this one's going to go the way of Apemen once more. So
Refund these gamers. Can I refund channel points? Is there a way to do that? Gwat coins is what they're called.
You know, my issue with the way that these teams are playing, you know, EU or loose formation, you know, like whatever you want to call it, is that it's just like, what is there to analyze? Like, what am I supposed to analyze? Am I gonna have like, you know, you got like this 2v2 on the right. They're just kind of dueling. Like, okay, good duel. And you got more duels going on the right. Like, what am I supposed to say? Everyone's just like in duels. You want me to commentate your duels? Like, what is this, a duel tournament?
Welcome to casting EU. Anyway, no. And on a more serious note, I think when it does kind of split into more separate engagements, I typically look for people who are in the red and then point out where the breakpoints are and like where the play needs to be made. That's kind of how I go about it.
Fair enough.
Because that's really all you can. Like if we're legitimately trying to look at the bright side here, right? So, okay,
it's
two duels in mid.
Engagement again, and it's just it's a similar narrative. The 3v3 on the right side, a little more scattered. Monarchy, excuse me, taking the first 2 picks in this round. Vape Stain, wow, getting 3 actually, quite impressive. He's gonna get 4th. Can he get the ace? No, Eden's gonna pick that one up, and Monarchy puts another one, so it's now 3-4 in favor of Apemen.
I can't recall. Are you a Polax fan?
I am a Poleaxe proponent, yes.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I think Greatsword's still just better.
Yeah, I also feel that way.
Similar engagement, but you can see this 2v2 on the left-hand side is sort of a little bit up further, and meanwhile we have this 3v3 on the left that Monarchy is taking. So they're going to take this round decisively. It's not going to be 4-4 tied up, and what I've been noticing, Gwat, is that the rounds where Apemen are able to explode on that left side, you know, they go for that left sort of 2v2, those sort of very fragmented duels. When they take those Monarchy individuals out on the left, they usually end the round quite quickly, but they haven't been able to do that the past few rounds. You see the same thing again, so let's see what Apemen can do. It doesn't look too good as 2 of them go down immediately.
Let this be a practical lesson. So you can see the team fight is already over by the time these guys have even hit each other once in these duels, right? This is why team fights are always superior to duels, is because you can get snowballing much quicker than if you just take 5 duels, and then you can get access to your teammates and helping them earlier on, right? So if we were to draw this out to, like, say, a 5v5 where everybody's contributing, the second you get a pick, you can extract value from that pick almost instantly.
Yeah, and again, we see another engagement, and it's... I don't know, there's not a whole lot to say, because it's kind of like both teams are just running at each other and hoping for the best, and it kind of comes down to who's winning the engagement more.
So this time, Blue are being incorrectly rewarded, in my opinion, because they won both their duels really quickly, which was a kind of a coin flip approach, and then one of their guys happened to stay alive in a 1v3 for like 15 seconds, so they could just waltz over, and now they're going to take the round as a result. But it feels like, even though they won, it maybe wasn't the optimal path to do so, you know?
Yeah, you know, I get that issue a lot where, you know, I'll tell people like, oh, you know, like in their comments, it's probably hype. It's like, yo, good job, dude. Like, you lived for 15 seconds, 1v3. But it's like, you probably shouldn't have gotten away with that.
Right.
Now we see another, and we see Monarchy taking the initial picks this time. So, yes.
Oh, what a switch from Vape Stain.
Very coin flippy, almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why I disagree with playing the game like this so much, is that there's no consistency to it.
It's not a winning strat, it's a 50-50 strat. Yeah, exactly.
Right, and I think both of these teams are appear mechanically matched, and so when both teams are mechanically matched, well, then it's just kind of a coin flip.
Yeah.
Although you could argue it creates a more interesting narrative. As
server is shitting itself. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got some mustards and ketchups going on. Monarchy, by the way, this is a match or a map point here for map 1. It's
it
just
looks like they will take it.
What can he do? Absolutely nothing. He goes down to Eden's Greatsword, and that is map 1 going in favor of Monarchy. Vape Stain showing up huge, 16, 7, and 5. Definitely collecting a lot of kills. In terms of kill participation, I think he was also on top. So hats off to Vapestain there.
All right, and now we will be rotating to, it appears, Mosh Pit. That's the name of the map. Couldn't think.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how it goes on this map because sort of what was playing into the split engagements there on Contraband was that pillar, right? Sometimes teams don't really intend for the split to happen because maybe they're not as experienced or simply put, they don't really have a general idea of what they're doing. That pillar sort of just naturally leads into that. So it'll be interesting to see on Mosh Pit how the fights evolve, I guess. Sinister on the back foot, he's gonna gets a nice tag onto Fragile there.
Oh, very early pick onto Vapestain though. The breakpoint
goes in.
This halberd, this one hit's got to not die in this 1v2. He doesn't. And now it looks like everybody on red is in the red, and they will. Oh, the mace trying to make something happen here. He's going to take a few chunks though, and he will go down. Very difficult to gain initiative in a 1v4. So.
I really liked what Sinister tried to do there, but the problem is you can't be ratting like that if your team's going to go in. Your team can't be stepping forward until you actually are behind them. So look at this. Why are you stepping forward? Like, give your rat time. You see, they're doing the engagement 4v5, but they do get an Apemen right away, and actually the engagement's going their way. And I think that's because in that fight there, I think the Apemen were incredibly hesitant on that engagement. That's actually a clean engagement there for Monarchy, but in my opinion, they should have been punished heavily for that. You see, they are going in, but Sinister is on the side. So Apemen needs to look to punish that.
Right. Completely agree.
But look, they're not engaging together though. It's a bit of a clumsy engagement.
We have a mace duel looking for a switch here. Oh. The spear mass combo popularized by Wizardish. Looking to take this duel, trying to get a stab drag off. In the meantime, his teammates will collapse, and now we have Delta in a 1v2. Spear finally does win his duel, but looks like it was too little too late.
Dude, at the 1v2, it's hard to do things in a 1v2 with a spear. He's trying his hardest here. You can actually, if you can get this player down, it's realistic. He needs to kill yourself. Oh, not with a slash. That's not what you're looking for. He's going to get backed up against the wall by the mace. Oh, he's really struggling now. He's hurting on stamina. He's trying his best, but it's a spear. It's so hard. He's going to get hit twice now. There's some team damage coming out, and he is going to go down. A good attempt there, but it's really, really difficult with a spear.
Whoever's asking for the bracket, it's not accurate.
What I would say again, Gua, is look at Amen. They need to engage together, but look, they're not. There goes 2, then the 3 will follow, and now it's just chaos, utter chaos. Monarchy gets a pick, 8-man answer. Now it's a 4v4. Very scattered fight that we have going on here. 4 different duels.
Yeah, 4 duels for sure.
Self is gonna pick up Sinister. Fragile picks up Eden. 8-man looking to close out this one. Delta on the left side in a 1v2. He's gonna go instantly down. T-Poke follows.
You know what that round makes me think? Makes me need to think I really need to finish this polling video.
Yes.
Desperately.
Yes. Soon TM.
Yeah.
Come on, Amen, just get together. Engage together. No, not like that. Look at that. They send 2 in. Then those 2 get hit and they retreat. And then the other 3 come in and, you know, we need to make a video on that too because I wish I could like MS Paint on the stream right now, but if I could put it in words, I'll try to put it very eloquently. What happens is the 8-men, they'll have 2 of their members engage, right? But they're engaging before the rest of their teammates are ready to support them. So what happens, is those 2, they lose the engagement, and then because they get hurt, what's the natural thing to do? Well, you backpedal, right? You backpedal. And then, well, now the rest of their teammates come in, but now they're desynchronized because those 2 people are backpedaling while the other 3 come in, and then it just repeats.
Right.
You see a similar thing here. Like, look how it just emerges into chaos. Delta's actually getting some massive cleaves, but now, again, we see a very spread out fight. Monarchy, though, looking to maybe claw their way back into this map. 8-man actually up 4 rounds. They actually slipped by me a bit there. I didn't quite catch that they had that many. Yourself and Fragile putting in a ton of work on the side of 8-man.
Yep. And Monarchy did take map 1, but currently 8-men have the lead on map 2, so it looks like we may have the mixings of a close set here. Oh, very early pick from 8-men once again. Looks like they're going to be able to snowball this, and that'll put them at 5-2 on map 2. And now it is a 5v1 here. Sinister trying his best to live, but unable to do so.
You know, Goon Emperor has opted for this mace. I don't really know if I appreciate the way he's using it, though. I think from what I see, he's trying to play sort of towards the outside, and I don't know. He's kind of playing.
Oh,
as a
big
frontline.
pole hammer switch. It looks like. I think that's new.
Yeah,
Taking
I
the
think
duel
that
with the
is
mace.
a weapon swap. And look at this spot. We see duels again. Now they sort of merge together slowly in clusters, but it doesn't feel right.
Right.
It doesn't sit well with me.
All is not well in the duel yard. I mean, skirmish.
It's not a 3v2, but it's very winnable for Monarchy here. One of them needs to win their 1v2 though, and it's very doable. Unfortunately, Goon Emperor is going to take down T-Pope. Eden winning his 1v1 with yourself, and this is actually very winnable. There is no regen. Okay, and he's just going to go down.
Caster's cursed once again.
Unfortunate. That was very winnable there. I think he was a little bit trigger happy there. I hope teams realize that there's no regen. So in situations like that, it's really actually wise to just take your time.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow,
big early pole hammer
Monarchy
bonk.
completely dropping the ball here, and I think this is going to cost them this map potentially. Although it is very even.
Oh
They're gonna
no,
hit the
and a
map.
team kill from T-Pope.
Wow, somehow Monarchy makes that work, but the way they engaged that round, that was not good. They should have been punished for that. I think some good switches there though in the middle of the round allowed them to.
We should ban. Who is it? We should ban Goon Emperor from spamming voice lines because it tilts me.
Yeah, I have been noticing someone's been saying that. We do have a duel going on the side. There's a main engagement. Apemen taking the first initial pick again. They're going to take another, again, map point. It's 6-3. T-Pope's going to answer, but will it be enough? Monarchy, they're down.
Oh, the hyper armor comes out from I'm Fragile. Takes down Sinister. Looks like it could be a turning point. And yep, that's going to be map 2 for Apemen.
Yeah, and much more decisive. I believe map 1 was, what, 7-6 or
Yeah,
7-5?
7-5, I think.
7-5. So, much more decisive on this map, Mosh Pit. And I think, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think clearly Mosh Pit worked better for Apemen. Either that or they were just warmed up, but
Yeah.
it did seem to work much better for them. I wish both teams would sort of contest the engagement a little more and be together a little more. Like on the engagements, it feels very desynchronized.
Yeah.
Like that effect that I sort of highlighted, you know, it's happening a lot, and that is kind of the main reason why teams would sort of break off into duels, because you have some people going in, some people going off to the side. People don't know what's going on, right? Because if you engage and your teammate isn't right there behind you to support you, all of a sudden you start wondering, well, are my teammates really behind me? And so then you get indecisive and you back up and you make poor decisions and you try to play for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Also, a bit of meta commentary I'm realizing is when we have these kind of spread out scrims in the MFC format instead of like a proper tournament, we can have casting be not as draining of a task, right? Because you're only casting for what, 2 hours instead of like 6 or 6.5, 7, something like that. So you can kind of put more energy into each match casting and more attention to detail on it without talking yourself into a stupor 4 hours in. So anyway,
third map here, by the way, we are in Chester. I think it's a very similar dynamic to Mosh Pit. It's just flipped a little bit in terms of the sort of length to width ratio. And look at this, it's very split though. It's sort of, I feel like the size of Chester is lending itself more to these split duels. Sinister picking up Goon Emperor there on the mace. Monarchy actually coming out strong in this map. It's not down to a 1v3. Yourself finds himself up against the wall. It's going to be really hard to win this one, and he's going to go down to the mace of Sinister. 2-0 here for Monarchy.
To victory!
So I don't really know what to make of this, Gua. I don't know what to make of... Because in my eyes, the sort of openness of this map is very similar to that of Mosh Pit, except it's just larger. So I wonder if that somehow... I'm not really sure how that plays more into what... Oh, look at this, very split out. You could actually see Apemen were together there for a moment, but then they broke apart on the engagement. Oh, very good switch there by Sinister on the mace, but Koi doing his best to stay alive. Goon Emperor is going to pick up one. Yourself picks up another. Goon Emperor gets a second, and this is going to go towards the Apemen. 2-1, still in the favor of Monarchy.
also no idea why it happens, but for some reason whenever I'm streaming on Chester, the stream drops frames. No idea why, and that's specifically on Chester, but sorry about that. It'll be gone for the rest of the set. So just bear with us. The stream is more for the players to have something to look at afterwards than it is for like the live audience, because we're not sponsored or anything. But
I really like what Apemen are doing in the beginning of the round, but the problem is they're not engaging properly. I like that what they're trying to do is they're trying to take Monarchy to the wall, and that will allow them a more concentrated fight. Whether or not that's the sort of style that they play to, I don't know, but it seems like it would be. Why else would you take them to the wall? It's just the problem that when Apemen take them to the wall, I mean, look at this guy, Goon Emperor. He's so far off from the rest of his team. Look at that! Look at that! One guy engages without the rest of them. Actually, Koei getting a massive clead, but he's gonna go down immediately. A team kill coming out on the side of Monarchy. It's even now. It's a 3v3, but it's a very split fight. It's trading back 1-1, and now it's down to a 2v2. 2 duels. T-Pope's gonna win his. Sinister just has to stay alive here. He actually gets a huge hit. It's now 1v2, and Watery goes down. Can't find anything. I really want the chat to sort of pay attention. I mean, I know a lot of you guys probably understand this, but just pay attention to that initial engagement, because that's really the most important part of the fight. Is that you'll see time and time again, for both teams, not just Apemen, that one guy will be engaging by his lonesome. Like that. But where's the rest of the team? I mean, they're here, but they're here like a second late. And they get that early pick, but it's more to do with the fact that Monarchy is sort of doing the same thing.
Right.
And I think the reason Monarchy is coming out on top in these rounds is, I mean, I don't want to attribute it entirely to weapon composition, but they do have some very heavy-hitting weapons, and that allows them to blow people up very quickly. You'll see they'll get a pick, and then 2 or 3 more will follow very quickly. Okay, Apemen, much better this round. Much better opening. It does split, but this should go in the way of Apemen. They do get their first pick there. There are a few duels going on. Koei with the Messer showing up huge. They are going to take this round.
That was good. I like that.
That was good. It was much better. Definitely nowhere near perfect, but that's kind of more.
Yeah, they took two 2v1s early. Once they won them, they split off to go help their teammates and create more 2v1s, and then they snowballed the round. That was just like slow, but correct line of thought.
Right. And it's definitely not something where it's like you can just turn on a switch. It's sort of like either you've practiced it or you haven't. But I appreciate that they're sort of maybe recognizing now that they need to be a little bit together. Monarchy opting for a sort of wrap, but I think that's really, really bad for them. That's way too expensive in terms of time, and you're going to see their team just gets absolutely blown up. Almost a clean wipe. If Water hadn't gone down, that would have been a clean wipe. So Apemen getting some momentum back here. 3-5, still in the favor of Monarchy. But I do think Apemen are coming to terms with what they need to be doing exactly. The question is, how will Monarchy adapt to this? Okay, so good. Monarchy's not allowing them to take them to the wall, which is really good. Unfortunately for Apemen, or excuse me, unfortunately for Monarchy, they sort of just fumbled on the engagement. And I'm Fragile is able to just swing around everywhere, picking up 3 in that fight. And then we see this duel over here. T-Pope, what can he do? Probably nothing. I think he's just going to go down. And he does.
Very close map 5, or map 3, excuse me. Spike.
Yeah, 4-5. We're sort of seeing a sort of a reverse of map 1, where Apemen sort of established that early lead, and then Monarchy clawed their way back into it.
And you know what's interesting about that too is that Chester, I would say, lends itself more to the mosh pit approach than the contraband one. You know, with the way you're engaging, and yet now Monarchy on top.
I absolutely love what Apemen have done this round. The way they engaged there, it was a little bit separated, but the players that were engaging, they did a incredible job engaging. The Monarchy people on that right side just got blown up. Very deserving win in this round. That was, I wouldn't say flawless, but that was very good by Apemen there. If you're Monarchy at this point, what do you think they should be looking to do?
I think if you're Monarchy, you got to stop trying to go for these radical concaves or whatever they're trying to do. Like right now, yeah, exactly. They're trying to go for this in circle. Yeah, exactly. And now they're getting beaten up, and some dude dies trying to wrap.
It costs them so dearly. It's so bad. You can't do that. Teams, listen, chat. Mid-tier teams, low-tier teams, teams that are new to comp, you can't do that. T-Pope was so far extended up, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's not necessarily his team's fault. We can't really know that without comms, but you can't be that far up, and then your team is just completely behind you.
They got to play tighter.
They've got to play tired. They've got to be more.
This is a
aware
bit
of what's
better.
happening.
I like this engage a little more.
Yeah, look. You see that little look over the shoulder? Vapestain checking to make sure his teammate is behind him.
They engage on the strong side.
It's a more controlled engagement here.
There's 2 2v1s and a couple duels. Both 2v1s explode simultaneously, but blue team were closer and they were able to get an impact. But however, Sinister takes down 2, and now it slowly dissolves into a 1v3 that will end with a disarm and a good farm. 6-6 here on map 3.
Good on Monarchy. I saw it. I saw the change. Before they engage, I don't know if you noticed, Swap, but about 2 of their frontliners, I think it was Vapestain and Delta, I believe, they sort of looked behind their shoulders to check to make sure.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to slow down, take the engagement a little bit slower. I hope they do the same thing here.
This halberd's a little bit loose, but yeah.
It's a much more controlled engagement. I think it's going to split up because the teams don't really have direction. Apemen...
This footwork here from T-Pope pulling so far away out, I don't really like that because it prevents his teammates from being able to help him.
Oh, it's now down to a 1v5. Sinister trying to keep this map going for them. But
they finish for Apemen to start off. Yep.
Yeah, 7-6. Now Apemen take the lead 2-1 in terms of the total set.
Yep, that's correct. And now we can get off the slideshow map. So that's pretty cool.
So for me, wow, that was probably really the most interesting map to watch so far because, you know, Monarchy came out, and I don't think they did anything particularly special. I think it's just that Apemen didn't really know what they were doing. And you saw that Monarchy took that 5-1 lead very early on in the map. But then Apemen were able to adapt, potentially ghosting, who knows. But I'll give it to them.
Jesus Christ.
I think they I think they have it in themselves to adapt, and they did. And we saw sort of towards the end there that Monarchy was doing the same. They were also adapting, but it was a little bit too little too late.
Yeah, and now we're on normal contraband instead of CD contraband. So contraband, but this time there are potholes.
Again, very split. Apemen taking that first pick, taking a second. Fragile has been showing up huge. I've been noticing he's getting a lot of these early switches. You know, his team may be disorganized and they may not be playing together exceptionally well, but the way he's been moving around the fights and sort of picking up cleaves onto 2 or 3 people at a time has been very impactful, and it sort of reflects it in terms of the scoreboard. He has kept a very high kill percentage. Oh,
these big XE hits early on from Sinister in the back. However, his teammate's going to explode in this team fight on the side, the 3v3. They're going to pick up another one. Several split engagements here. Oh, red team do have the numbers here.
Oh, it's down to a 2v2. Oh, they got one of them has to pull. You can't, because yourself is so low there. He can't afford to be in that. Oh, huge swing by Fragile. He's getting the 1v2. He's going for the backswing.
Oh,
doesn't quite get it.
If he had been able to riposte sell that into another kind of backswing attempt, that might have hit first. But how could he have known? Now that Stretch Dress is gone.
A good attempt. Not enough. It's 1-1 here on this 4th map.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of a 3v3 engage here. Oh, goodness. A huge Executioner Sword Cleave comes through. I'm Fragile will take out both those kills. Yourself helps him. Now it is a 5v3 here for blue team, and they're going to take all their 2v1s and close the round out pretty clean. Should be a flawless round for them.
Fragile is kind of solo winning the engagement for the Apemen. And it's unfortunate because you should never be able to like solo win an engagement if you're playing against, you know, proper opponents who know what they're doing. The reason why Fragile is able to have so much impact, in part, it's because he's understanding what to do. But the other part to it is that Monarchy is just so split, so desynchronized, and it allows Fragile to just get in there for free. This round, he's not able to do a whole lot, but his teammates are able to do some stuff in this round. You can see he's swinging, not able to get a lot. Goon Emperor, though, going to pick up Sinister with the mace. Now his teammates come to help. And it looks like Amen's going to take their 3rd round in this map. Early lead here for the Apemen on this 4th map.
I'm really liking everything Water is doing as well, helping I'm Fragile with these plays, except for the fact that he's using a Zweihander. That's just trolling, but, you know.
Yeah, he has been switching around a lot. He was using Spear before. The short Spear, I thought that was very weird. Why not just go S-Stock?
Right.
Oh, yeah, by the way, neither team using S-Stock, by the way.
Yeah, it's not banned. That's just a choice they're making.
Like I understand maybe not using Maul. I mean, personally, I think Maul is really not that good. I think it's actually quite a bad weapon, but that's stock. I mean,
Mac Daddy's saying, Guat is it, Zwei is good in the chat. Well, you know what's better, though? Just objectively? Oh, Hubbard. Case closed. Anyway. Yeah, so what I kind of want to see
another,
here...
by the way, Guat. It's 4-1.
Wiz pretty low. How is Wiz quiet? You guys are trolling me.
Wow, look at these Monarchy members, by the way. Eden and Delta both struggling. They're at 0 kills. You know, I don't really think that scoreboard tells the story of what happens, but at the same time, if you do have extremes where players aren't able to have any impact on the scoreboard, that is also concerning. Babe saying with a huge
It's like a strike at the end. Yeah, although the round you said that, Eden puts 2 kills on the board, which instantly propels him into second for his team in kills.
Yeah, that's very true. Monarch, they need to change something up. That's not how you do it. Engaging. Oh,
there's a Maul
Sinister.
thing. There's a Maul thing. Oh, he gets through with one.
Really,
oh, there's 2.
Sinister. Sinister. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how he got away with that, but that was really good by Sinister. Should he have gotten away with that? Absolutely not. I don't like. He ran mid, and he just ran past the 2 Apemen there. I think it was Goon Emperor with the mace. He just ran past him, completely uncontested, pretty much, and he just opens up that round with a pick. So good job by Sinister there. I do like the weapon switch.
Don't try it again, man. Oh
he's trying it again, but look, Goon Emperor is contesting.
Oh my God, they let him through again. Oh, but the team hit. Oh, but he clotheslines one. He's looking for another.
Could this be the answer that Monarchy need? Wow.
Maybe.
How
this
do you
is already.
respond to this?
I mean, if you are working a formula, let's say you're 8-man, you're working a formula that works and suddenly they throw a rat at you, I feel like a rat is something that at least demands some sort of a shift, and if they're unable to adapt, then this could be pretty bad for them.
Yeah, they need control him. Control that Maul. He is being controlled this round. But
oh my God, he's what the fuck?
Oh no.
I mean, I'll just say I've seen better. I've seen better. I don't even like calling it a Maul rat because he's wearing a level 3 chest plate. You know, like it's not even really a rat. He's just like a fastball, I guess, but he's not playing it like a rat.
Oh, he's trying.
He's trying to just bulldoze.
And he just let him. Koei. How do you say this person's name? Koei?
I just say Ko. I just say Ko.
Ko. Dude, someone clip that, ship it to that guy. What are you doing? Listen to me, Ko. When you
hold the pillar. Hold it.
Listen to this. You take your right shoulder, okay? Ko, listen. You take your right shoulder, you glue it to the pillar, okay? You just take your shoulder, glue it to the pillar, and you just sit there. Okay, that's all you need to do. You just sit there. And then suddenly this Maul has no value, no impact, nothing he can do in the round. No! You've done it again! What can Sinister find? He gets 1. He gets 2.
God.
Oh, could this go to a map 5? I think Monarchy have found an answer here. And I think it is this Maul. And I don't really, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I don't really think it's Sinister. I don't think he's particularly playing it well. I think it's these individuals on 8-man, they're absolutely trolling. I mean, they're just like letting him, it's almost like they're escorting him through. Like they back up from the pillar and they say, oh yes, this way, my lord, this way, right away. And it's like, come on. So look, okay, he's doing a better job. But it's better.
Oh my, Goon Emperor doesn't parry though.
And it's gonna go to a map 5.
Yep.
I think Monarchy have found their answer, and so now the question, Guat, going into this 5th map is how does 8-man respond? Because, you know, I'll be real, I really don't think Maul is a good weapon. I think it's quite bad, but, you know, that's speaking from one perspective in COD. You know, there's a lot of different levels of play. There's a lot of different play styles, and so for some teams, it is difficult for them to deal with it. They don't necessarily have the answers. How do you deal with a Maul?
It is worth noting, though, I don't think that Maul strat will be as effective on Chasm. I'm not of the opinion that that is the case. I think.
Yeah, I don't know actually. It'll be
because he was kind of leveraging that pillar to blindside them and then get a lot of free hits, whereas here you're gonna have to really work to earn a flank instead of just being handed it for free. I think.
Right.
I mean, thank God, since the troll tunnels were patched up. But
yes, the tunnels were patched out. So map 5 here, Chasm. The set is tied up here for both teams, 2-2. Monarchy taking the last map to sort of equalize things. So we need to see what Apemen are going to do about this mall here. And I think you're right, Gwa. I think right away, it doesn't have as much potency here. But with that being said, Sinister is just going to take down Goonhepper.
Oh my God, he has rush. Oh no, the awareness just isn't there to punish it. Oh, never mind. I'm fragile with the insane cleave.
Look at him, like time and time again.
Oh!
He gets another. It's so winnable. Oh. Unfortunately, I think the way he pad there towards the end ended that run for him, but they were all one hit to kill. It's quite winnable.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that was a gimmick round for them all. I don't think that's what we'll see every round, and if it is, then that means Apemen are really not handling it well. Like, I'd be shocked if they were able to pull off a play like that every round, because he basically insta won a duel with a maul, which is typically pretty rare.
They've switched off the maul. Because I think what they realized, that it doesn't have that same effect as it does on other maps.
Oh, the duck from the Executioner's Sword chainmail creature. And that's
it's just fragile again in a 1v4. Can he do anything?
No, it doesn't look like it. Weird that they keep ending up against this gate, like in the opposite corner from where they spawn.
Yeah, most of my experience, teams sort of play towards that left. But, they're sort of taking it towards the right.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. I'll have to pay more attention. But Monarchy here in this 5th map up 2-0 over Apemen.
Alright, we're going to watch Sinister here. Sinister Cam. He's trapped in a duel here with the Executioner's Sword. And now he's out of stamina. He does get a hit.
It's very split. Monarchy, though, going to take that first pick. Fragile trade, though.
So that round, Sinister got no value. And unfortunately, Apemen turned their backs to him. So he gets value later on, but it really shouldn't work that way.
3-0 for Monarchy here. And I really question why the Apemen are taking it towards that right side. You already sort of mentioned about that. A lot of these fights are sort of veering towards that right side. First of all, the darkness over there is a little more than the main engagement. Second of all, you've got the rock, you've got the gate. And look, they're doing
Monarchy are using that rock, I think, to play around it deliberately.
Oh yeah, excuse me. I mean, Monarchy are the ones taking it there. So maybe that is deliberate. Because it does seem to be working out for them. They don't quite make it to the rock this time, but nonetheless, they are winning this engagement. And I think what's happening now, Gwa, is that these Apemen are just, especially Fragile, who's sort of the star player for Apemen, he is just struggling to get quick picks. Like, these rounds seem to be taking a lot more time.
Yeah. I think, too, that Apemen are just playing a little bit too kind of non-reactively, or I guess reactively and passively. They're letting Monarchy dictate the engagement instead of taking steps to prevent it. This time it looks like they are going to look for a bit of a flank here, force them to turn and face. They do have a 4v3 on the strong side, if their guy can stay alive at all in this 1v2, but that looks like it's not going to be the case.
Wow!
Monarchy somehow just win a 3v4.
I am stunned, Gwa, because you pointed out, Monarchy went for that wrap, but here's the thing, right? Okay, cool, you go for the wrap. It's a bit of a risk. Your main engagement's going to be a bit weaker. You expect your main engagement to take some damage. But Monarchy, their main engagement wins it anyway. They won a 3v4.
And the 2v1, yeah. Not that wasn't expected, but yeah, they won the 3v4.
Right. And it's 5-0 here for Monarchy. And we see very split fights happening here. I mean, look at this. Is 5 duels if you have ever seen it.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Oh, Goonhepper with a huge swing. I don't know if you caught that, Guap, but he should not have gotten away with that. He's going to get 3. And now it's down to a 2v2. We do see Delta on 75 HP. Eden is on 70 as well, so they're about 2 hit to kill. Cody is 1 hit to kill. He's on 4 HP.
Oh,
he's going to go down immediately to Eden. Now it's just Goonhepper in the 1v2. He's going to get a cleave, though. He's got an Executioner sword. He can do a lot. They're both 1 hit to kill. Come on, Goonhepper. Just parry, just parry. Oh, he gets a parry.
Oh.
And the lean back by Eden with the set. It's 6-0. What is this squad?
Looks like Monarchy are about to power through the finish line.
And it's not even the mall squad.
No, they put away the mall. Yeah. They put it away.
So what is it? They just seem to be coming together. Either that or the Apemen are just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's match set point here. 6-0 for Monarchy. Much better. Fragile getting in on that early engagement. You'll like to see it. Immediately, Eden is blown up. Fragile getting huge cleaves. This is what you need to see.
Uh-oh. This Exy needs to get value now, and it looks like they're not going to get it. Looks like Monarchy have somehow turned it around again. Sinister in this duel in the back versus the other Exy. Just holding him there while his team win their favorable engagement.
Oh, and now It's just Koei in the 1v4 stuck up against the castle wall trying to keep the match set
That's a
alive.
7-0 to finish out the set. What a dominant performance towards the end.
Wow.
It is worth
Wow.
noting for our elo calculations, we do not take round differential into effect, only map differential, just because we found that it's a little bit less volatile or a little bit more volatile that way. But yeah, so that will be a
That's
3-2
absolutely incredible.
in
Absolutely
favor of
incredible.
Monarchy.
3-2. Monarchy taking it. I really thought Apemen had it after seeing what was the map they played before Chasm?
Contraband, I believe.
Contraband. Yeah, I really. Or wait, no. No.
You said before
The one that they
Chasm?
won. The one that they won.
Oh, well, Monarchy won because of the mall switch on Contraband right before Chasm.
Right. So the map before it. But in any case, I think truly remarkable. I think any team that's able to come out of a close set like that, come out on map 5 and 7-0 them. And chat is saying red sided map. I think they are joking because I'm pretty sure Chasm is very much, well, not very much, but I think it is slightly blue favored. Um,
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. And considering you are the creator of the map, I would say you tend to be the authority on that. And in my
yeah, I mean,
experience, yes, it was.
I don't know how significant it is, but yeah, like Monarchy, they're being on, I guess, probably the weaker side, and they 7-0 them. So I would say a very well deserved win there.
Yeah,
Um, it, in the end, I think both teams did absolutely brilliant. It was actually quite fun watching. Um, I think for both teams, though, it's a bit disappointing in terms of how they take the fights.
right,
I really don't appreciate the way that they engage, and I really think the kind of closest that we got to sort of quality fights was on Chester when you saw Apemen sort of taking it to the wall, taking it a bit slower, being
right.
more together. I don't really think we saw anything else like that. And to both of the teams' credits, that's fine. Maybe they just prefer playing this way and it works for them. Personally, I'm not a huge proponent of it. But hats off to both teams. I think they both played brilliantly. A very close set.
Yeah. All right.